Hi, I'm Creston. Welcome to the SQL Limit Clause. In this video, we're going to first go over a few slides, and then we're going to get into some live coding. If you want to follow along with the live coding, be sure to check out the link in the description below the video. All right, let's jump into the SQL Limit Clause. So the SQL Limit Clause limits how many records are returned from a select statement. Now, limit is a keyword that's used in Postgres and some other relational databases. However, by the SQL standard, the correct syntax is fetch first, however many rows only. So fetch first, 10 rows only. So how would you would use it in a select statement is, say you have select all the columns from posts where published at is not null, order by the published at in a descending fashion, and then usually the last clause is a limit clause, so only return 2 of whatever records those are. All right, let's jump into the live examples. Like the previous examples, I'm going to be using Ubuntu and Postgres. You can feel free to use your own database, but I'm going to go ahead and assume the Postgres user in Ubuntu, and then I'm going to go and type in my password, and I'm going to connect with the PostgreSQL SQL client to a test database we set up previously where we just said create database test. So I've connected this test database. If you follow it along with previous lessons, we did create a post table. I'm going to go ahead and drop that so that we can start fresh with this lesson. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new post table with a unique ID, a title, which is a string for the title of the post, the content, as well as a published at timestamp. So I'm going to go ahead and create that table, and then I'm going to insert 4 rows here that specify information for each of the different columns, ID, title, content, and I'm going to specify published at for 2 of the rows that I'm inserting, one using a text string that Postgres accepts. Your database may accept something different, and a function that means the current date time. Okay, so those rows have been inserted, so we can go and get started. Let's just take a look at, see what the data looks like to begin with in this table. So here we have the 4 rows that we inserted into the post table. So let's go ahead and say, okay, do that and only give me 1 row. So it's just going to return the first row of what you specify. Now, if you've looked at the order by lesson that we did, you'll remember that the order is not guaranteed in a relational database. Basically, you must explicitly say what order you want to return if you want that to be repeatable. Otherwise, it's just as you insert or update data, it's going to change the order in how the data is retrieved typically. Now, as I mentioned, that's not the SQL standard. So that works with some databases, limit, although there's this much more verbose, which is the SQL standard. And let's say I'm just going to fetch the first 2 rows only. And we can see it's just going to return the first 2 rows only. Now back to what I said by order, I could say order by title and then have the limit at the end, and it's just going to first order them by title and then just give me the first record after it's been ordered by title. All right, so let's look at an example where we are putting everything together. So give me all the columns from the post table where the published at is null, order it by title, and limit it to 1 row. So there we have ordered by title and give me the first row. Now I can also do it by descending if I want last row. And again, this is where the published at is null. So that's a way to use the limit clause in order to limit the number of rows returned in your SQL queries. I hope that was helpful. If you want to learn more, you can check out my free course called SQL Bootcamp. There's a link in the description below this video.